𝗪𝗧𝗛 Anthony is living, the suspected murderer is living with his family in a $900,000 home in a gated community. He bought a new car with defense funds after release on bond in the Austin Metcalf murder case. So moved into a new home, probably a rental, bought a new car, all kinds of stuff being delivered to the home. He killed another human being, and now social media is basically defending him. Everybody's got the right to self-defense. Well, what are you doing bringing a knife to a high school track meet? Explain that one to me. Let's get into it. Here we go. So apparently what happened is you've got what I'm kind of envisioning, and I read all kinds of reports on this. You've got an area that's kind of staked out for one of the schools, and then a different area that's staked out for what, I don't know if they have canopies or just, bags and stuff. But the kid from one high school who got murdered, he told the other kid, hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be over there. And there was some kind of back and forth, and 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗛 Anthony literally whips out a knife, stabs the other kid in the heart, kills him. The kid dies. He's a twin. He dies in the arms of his twin at a high school track meet. Explain all that. So now we've got a situation of, 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗛 Anthony, the suspected murderer, he needs to be protected. Now, he needs to be in prison for life for murdering another human being. But what social media is doing is completely protecting him. Texas teen accused of fatally stabbing a high school football star at a track meet allegedly lives in a $900,000 home with his family inside a luxurious gated community, despite requesting that a judge lower his $1 million bond because of financial difficulties. This story just keeps going. And after this kid murdered another individual, allegedly, he basically asked police, can I come up with a self-defense on this one? And he said, I am not a alleged murderer. I did it. He literally came right out and said, I did it. He admitted to the murder. And now he's got people that have done a GoFundMe for like $450,000, and his family's taking this money out. Car here, new rental, bunch of stuff being delivered to the house. 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗛 Anthony, 17, is holed up with his family at the pricey home inside the gated community of Richwoods in Frisco, Texas. It's a suburb of Dallas. After he was released from jail Monday on reduced $250,000 bond. What is he doing out on bond at all? This kid should be in prison. Just straight to prison. You admitted to it. You murdered a fellow human being with a knife stab to the heart. Kid bled out. You're guilty. Boom, done. But instead, we're going through all these gyrations of everybody's got their chance at justice. Yeah, well, how about the kid that's dead that was murdered? Where's his justice going to come for his parents? Yeah, it's not. Kid's dead. The home, where rent is estimated to be $3,500 a month, had a white Suburban, a black Acura, and a third sedan in the driveway on Tuesday. I don't really care about that, that stuff. This kid should just be in jail. There should be no GoFundMe. There shouldn't be. You shouldn't be supporting a killer, a murderer. You shouldn't be supporting a murderer. This kid, he had no self-defense. There is zero self-defense in this case. He got a new car, the resident told the outlet. If you look at the license plate, it's got a paper tag and it says expires June 4th. Richwoods is about a mile from Sentinel High School, where Anthony went to school and ran track. Residents in the gated community were allegedly unaware the family was living at the home until Anthony was released Monday, and have voiced concerns about having the accused killer in their exclusive neighborhood. Not good. Not good. I don't think he should be out, an anonymous mother in the neighborhood told the Daily Mail. Absolutely, 100% with you there. This kid should be in prison. He should be in jail somewhere. He should be incarcerated somewhere away from the public. Because if he's at a track meet and whips out a knife and kills somebody, you know what I mean? I don't care how good his grades are. I don't care how good a track student he is. He's obviously got something, mentally wrong here. Right? Because you just don't arbitrarily run around, hey, I'm going to sit wherever I want, and if you don't like it, I'm going to stab you. You don't do that. That's called against the law. But It's wild. It's wild stuff, right? So here he is coming out of he's being released because he got out on bond. He shouldn't be out on bond, but he's got zero record. He's a pretty clean cut kid, with the exception of he murdered a fellow human being, and he's up on charges of murder. Sent home, family of killer Carmelo Anthony to buy new house and security with donated $430K as he's freed in Austin Metcalf murder. Make this make sense. Why are we donating to a known killer? Why are you giving money to a killer? Because there's some kind of reparations here? It doesn't make any sense to me. No sense to me whatsoever. Check this out. False Carmelo Anthony claims fake Austin Metcalf autopsy drove Frisco stabbing misinformation surge. Mainstream media is bending over backwards to basically defend this kid because he has no defense. He's going to jail for a long, long time for murdering another fellow human being. All right, I'll throw it out there. Allegedly. But even he basically owned up to the fact, it's not allegedly, I killed him. He said, yeah, he owned up to it. He fessed up to it. Now, the defense is going to say, he was in a state of shock after having to defend himself against another kid. And so the other kid didn't have any weapons. So he just whips out his knife and stabs him, the other kid, in the heart. That's self-defense. Or somebody asking you to leave and go sit where your team sits, where your school is supposed to be. Yeah. Murder because somebody infringed on where they're supposed to sit. That tells you all you need to know, right? So false claims. In the wake of the fatal stabbing at Frisco High School track meet, CBS News team I-Team found a surge of misinformation has swept through social media platforms, causing confusion and fear. You know what's confusing and fear? Why this kid is out on bond. He should be locked up. Lock him up through his court date, through his trial, till he goes to prison, because that's what you do with criminals. Causing confusion and fear. You know what the fear should be? Is that he's going to kill somebody else inside that gated community. That's what the fear should be. Instead, it's, we've got misinformation. High-profile X accounts, formerly Twitter, including 𝗫𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗏 and Libs of TikTok, quickly amplified the incident just hours after it occurred on April 2nd, claiming it received zero national outrage. 100%. This story got zero airtime. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. You got a black kid killing a white kid, and people don't know what to do with that. Let's donate because there's no way he's guilty. There's no way he's guilty, even though he said he did it. Didn't fit the narrative. These posts garnered nearly 50 million views. Fabricated details in a fake Austin Metcalf autopsy report. Soon after, a fake X account posing as Frisco police chief began disseminating fabricated details about the investigation. The next day, a fake autopsy report surfaced on Facebook, falsely claiming drugs were involved. He killed somebody. Disinformation continued to spread with fake Instagram screenshots of guns, fueling anger and uncertainty. While most misinformation posted online is not a crime, impersonating a police officer is. How about focusing on this kid who just murdered somebody? How about the fact that family of this two twins, they got one kid that's still alive and the other kid has been murdered by somebody that's out on bail, that's living in a fancy house, that's got a new car, that's got $400,000 plus $430 in the bank or in their GoFundMe for a defense fund? What do you need defense for? You're going to prison. You don't need defense fund. Take a public defender. Take your lumps like a man. Now he's not gonna. He's gonna be, I was bullied. I've been bullied. Yeah, well, that doesn't exactly warrant stabbing somebody in the heart, does it? No, it doesn't. Tracking down the original creators of misinformation is challenging. This whole thing is focusing on misinformation. Changes in Meta may have contributed to Facebook fake news. So they're all trying to go down this road of Maybe he didn't do it. Everybody's got to have, their due process in court. Threats against Carmelo Anthony's family and security at Austin Metcalf's funeral. Consequences of this disinformation on the fatal Frisco stabbing case have been severe. How about the severe impact on the kid's family that was murdered? How about we focus on that? Not misinformation in the media. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Kid whips out a knife from his gym bag and murders another human being. Allegedly. Innocent until proven guilty, right? But when the kid says he did it, and there's nobody else really around, and you got one dude who stabbed another human being who is now dead, it's tough to get from point A to point B and have anything be believable other than kid's guilty. Boom! Drop that gavel. I now sentence you to prison for life. Whatever it is. What other they're going to give him? It's Texas, right? Maybe they give him the death penalty. I don't know. But he needs not to be on house arrest at home. Check this out. Here's what Carmelo Anthony's new attorney said about the track meet stabbing case. Mike Howard, who was appointed as Anthony's lawyer last week, spoke briefly after a judge decided to reduce Anthony's bond amount from $1 million to $250,000. Why are we reducing his bond? Keep it at $1 million. The kid's a flight risk. He just is. If you stab somebody in the heart, he could be capable of anything. We don't know, right? All right, here's the defense attorney. He's gonna spin some web of lies here. Here we go.
There are two sides to every story. And Carmelo is a 17-year-old kid and an excellent student. He is the captain.
Excellent student and captain of yada yada that murdered another human being. Huh. Yeah, let's put it in that context. That murdered somebody.
Of his track team, he is the captain of his football team.
And as the captain of his football team, he murdered another human being. So that makes it okay? That makes it all right? Reduce sentence? No.
And prior to this, what was on his mind was what college he was going to go to.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He's going to go to the College of Hard Knocks inside of state prison somewhere.
This is a tragedy all the way around for both families.
What? It's a tragedy that your son murdered somebody? That's just a horrific crime. That's not a tragedy. That is a horrific crime that your son committed that you need to own up to. And instead of all this, deflecting, take some ownership, take some responsibility, and just go down the road of, you know what, he did it. And we're just going to have to reflect on that. And we're just going to have to accept the consequences, whatever the judge comes up with. Because this is not going to be an easy one to defend.
Rushing to judgment, trial by public perception and trial by media is not how we ensure justice is done. We are confident that after a full investigation, that the truth will come out.
I'm listening. I'm here to listen. I want to hear what you got to say. What are you going to how are you going to spin this? Oh, he was bullied. So he whips out a knife and just murders somebody.
Umbrage of the state's assessment that it's simple and brutal. Why so?
Well,
it's quiet.
The fact of the matter is, like I said, there's two sides to every story, and we've only heard one side. In any criminal case.
No, you heard from your client, the murderer. You heard from him. He said that he did it. So that's two. You heard from both sides. So, yeah.
The police investigate, and the defense is always far behind that. And so it is a one-sided investigation to this point. And even that investigation is still ongoing. So
that's what he comes up with.
It happened this way or that way is just not accurate at this point. All of the facts are going to come out. And that's why our system of justice requires that we keep our minds open and we let the facts come out as they are after a full investigation.
Is your plan going to be able to make bond and get out today?
I anticipate that he will be able to make bond. I can't speak to how quickly that will go. Funds, in the funds that have been raised are not quick to come out.
Who raises funds for a suspected killer? Who does that? Who gives money to a family that is known for supporting their child that murdered another human being? Who does that? What kind of sick, wacko piece of degenerative crap are you when you're defending somebody who murders another human being? That just doesn't compute. But that's what's going on. 430 grand worth.
And then, there's obviously a process to the release process once bond is posted.
The big question that a lot of people have is, why was this young man armed on school property?
That's an understandable question, but it's not something that, frankly, we're prepared to even go into. This is something that I know the police and the prosecution want to get it right and want to have a full and fair investigation, and so do we. So it would be irresponsible for me or them at this point to start saying, this is what happened, this is why, anything. So I understand that's a big question. It's going to be a big question, and it's something that we will find out. And we ask that the public, as hard as it is, withhold judgment and let both of these families have justice. That let both of these young men, the Metcalf family and the memory of who they've lost, but also.
Yeah, how is the Metcalf family gonna have justice here? They're not. Kid's dead, murdered, boom, done, not coming back. They buried him at massive security. Make it make sense. Tell me something that makes sense. Don't just spin a bunch of nonsense to me, right?
So Carmelo have a fair and full justice process.
How has he?
Your feeling on the reduction of this bond? You feel it's fair?
Yeah, I feel it's fair. Bond, as the judge said, is not supposed to be an instrument of oppression. It's not supposed to keep people in jail. It's not supposed to punish. It's supposed to ensure that a person shows up to court, complies with all conditions, and it's supposed to keep the community safe. So this is a large and substantial bond, and the judge has, I think, rightly imposed reasonable conditions that will ensure.
Nonsense. He needs to be in jail, period.
Both Carmelo and the Anthony family's safety, but also the safety of the community.
What was Carmelo's reaction today? He didn't seem very talkative toward you. And how has jail, I guess, been so far for this teenager? And does he look on suicide?
I hope it's horrific.
I honestly can't speak to Carmelo's reaction because I was so focused on the hearing and what was going on and what the judge was saying. I think we have to all remember Carmelo is a 17-year-old kid who's never been in any sort of trouble before. If you can just put yourself in his shoes, this is a scary, bewildering process. And I can't even imagine what was going through his head, just as I'm sure I can't imagine what was going through the heads of the Metcalf family. So, this is something that is new to all of them and incredibly trying.
So for people who want to know, why were you selected? I mean, what is your experience? I mean, you had to be really good.
You have to be really good. Meaning that's a woman asking a question, a reporter asking the question. Like, hey, you got to be really good because this kid is caught dead, dead guilty. So they picked you because you're really good. Because it's going to take the inference is it's going to take a really good attorney to get him off on these charges because it's such an open and shut case.
I can't speak as to why I was selected. In any case, it's important to have an attorney that you connect with, that you feel has the right amount of experience and the right investment in the case. And I'm not speaking to anybody else. I just know that that's important in any case.
Just how unsafe does this family feel? You mentioned it multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to speak for them at this point, but I think you can imagine the press coverage on this case has been immense, and the online and public reaction has been immense. And unfortunately, as is common in our culture, especially lately, the vitriol and the, public reaction one way or the other has been intense. And, threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family. It's not good for...
You know what's not good for either of the families is that one family member killed a member of their family. Dead. Somebody killed him. You know what? If we're going to go down this imaginary road of innocent until proven guilty, I mean, kid's dead. Ain't coming back. So, you know what I mean? I get that this guy has to spin something, but in this case in particular, everything is so wildly one-sided. You've heard nothing about the poor family that their child was slain at a track meet. You've heard nothing about that family.
The peace and safety of our community. So, I would ask, and I know both sides would ask, that the temperature on this be allowed to come down.
It's not going to.
That, the media, you guys have a job to do, and I understand that everyone does. But, at the same time, we just ask everyone in the public and everywhere to let this process play out fairly and fully for both sides. Okay. Thank you, guys.
How about this last one here? Killer Carmelo Anthony family bought car and showered with Amazon gifts as he's freed over Austin Metcalf's murder.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Carmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
That's the attorney. What a debacle. What a debacle. But you know what? If it doesn't fit the mainstream media's narrative, it either doesn't get any airplay, or the airplay that it does get, it's painting the killer as the victim. Oh, he was bullied. Oh, there was guns. Oh, there was this. Oh, he was defending himself. None of that's true. None of that is true. I mean, I'll be surprised. I'll be shocked if there comes up anything along those lines that there's an actual defense for this, because it doesn't appear that the kid who got murdered had any kind of beef. They'd never met before. You got one kid rolling in with his school, and got another kid that's at his school. Kid tells him, hey, you're supposed to be over there. Then he gets stabbed in the heart. I mean, that's just a story that's going along pretty normal. And just takes a hard right turn down into unbelievable. And now there's a fundraising effort, not for the family that had the child murdered, but for the one that did the murdering. Make that make sense. That whole part to me is like, what bunch of sick wackos out there supporting a murderer. Now, if there was any sense of, well, maybe this happened, I could believe that. But everything that I've read, everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard points to the fact kid's a cold-hearted murderer, and he brought a knife to a high school track meet. Make that make sense. You can't. Therefore, yeah, we're going to keep going on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.